Hello. In this video I show you how to use the SAP GUI scripting recorder native to SAP GUI for Windows to generate Visual Basic script that can be used in a Blue Prism code stage to reproduce recorded sequence of actions performed by a user in SAP. This is a useful technique, especially for those tasks where it's difficult to spy elements using the traditional Blue Prism SAP identification mode, such as working with grid tables or menu hierarchies. So let's begin. We will start here in the main screen, first making sure that the environment is set to support SAP GUI scripting. Notice at the bottom of the screen the barbershop icon indicating the scripting is configured, although it's not currently running. If in your environment this icon is not showing, please review the instructions in the SAP Integration User Guide on how to configure the SAP environment to support SAP GUI scripting. Let's go to the settings area and select script record and playback. By clicking this option, it opens a window where I can replay, record, and pause recordings, and where I can also specify where the Visual Basic code will be stored. So I'm going to hit record and minimize this window. Notice that now my actions are going to be recorded, and I can start typing the T code. SS&C is a data browser. My intention here is to browse a table and export its contents into an Excel file. So I'm providing the table name, and I'm going to skip the parameters and just execute this query. Here's the information that was produced, and I'm going to hit export. I'll select the default options, which is exporting to an Excel spreadsheet. And as I do it, the data will be exported. I have to provide the folder, which is the target of the Excel file to be generated. And also I'll be providing a file name, and I'm going to give here a result.xlsx as my file name. And I'll replace, if there is anything there, it will be written over. And here's the Excel spreadsheet produced, and you can see in the message window the number of bytes transferred. So let's turn off the scripting for now. I'm not interested in recording my actions anymore. So I'm going to pause the recording, and we can close this window. Let's take a look at the files generated as a result. When I go to my output folder, I find two files, the Excel spreadsheet and the Visual Basic script code. So let's take a look at the code. And I want to divide this code in two sections. The first gives me the object declarations to set the context within the SAP session, and the second describes the step-by-step actions captured. I want to clean up some of this code, first by removing some of the conditional statements and keeping the object instantiation, and I'll declare these objects so my code will look cleaner. So let me remove this set commands. I don't need them. I'll just have the four objects there, and I'll start declaring them as objects. So we'll first declare this SAP GUI auto object and the application, the connection, and the session. This piece of the code will be used for any other code stage that will invoke Visual Basic scripting and the SAP GUI API. So make sure you just use this header, if you will, in your code, and you should be good to go. The next section describes the actions recorded and some attributes, for example, the screen dimensions. In the code stage, you want to make sure you enclose parameters in between parentheses to avoid syntax errors. We also want to pass on parameters as arguments to make this execution more dynamic. For example, I'll pass on table name, and the script retains character positions which are not needed, so I'll remove this line as well. Every other interaction with the screen elements are shown here, for example, interacting with buttons. And I'll make sure the folder path is also a parameter, as well as the file name. So I'll just give some variable names that I will declare in my code stage as well. Once again, I don't need to retain the character position, and this is the code that I will use in my code stage in Studio. Let's bring up the Blue Prism Studio and take a look at this object I got started. So first we'll go to the initialize page and make sure that in the code options you have the Microsoft Visual Basic Interaction namespace imported and the language is set to Visual Basic. Now you have to make sure you are also attaching to the SAP GUI interface. And these are the variables we're going to be using. The input variables I've already changed in the code, and I'll talk more about the message variable. But for now, let's open the code stage. You see here the three input variables that I have declared, as well as the message, which is the status message that I want to capture. I'll show you how to do this. I paste the code that we had modified. All the variables are available here and they are matching my definitions. And the intent is to have a message captured in the status bar when the operation is confirmed. So I have a message output variable and I will return the message by invoking the SAP GUI API. And here's how the declaration looks like. You use the S bar element on Windows 0, which is this status here, and populate the message. We are ready to execute our code stage. I will click reset and go. And now the code stage is replaying the steps taken, using the input variables to interact with the code that drives the SAP GUI interface. And in the end, we'll see the variable message being populated with the confirmation of the data transferred to the spreadsheet. And this concludes the demonstration. I hope you find it helpful. Thanks for watching.